Welcome back. So GAIA X will have an impact on all industries. The exciting question is, what exactly does that mean in practice? To answer this question, we invited experts and thought leaders from various industries. But before we start, let's have a look around in the audience. Which sector do you represent? And we will start with a survey here, and I will give you some seconds to answer. Okay. I think maybe we need some more time, and now the results need some more time. Which of the current GAIA X domains do you represent? And now, well, it's starting to get vivid here. And I can see very clearly some leading aspects here, some leading domains you're representing. So let me summarize it for you. It's finance and industry and the public sector, and also, yeah, some of you, like 45%, say, okay, it's another domain I'm representing here. But I think finance is really the leading part in our poll. So thank you very much for your participation. And now let's look forward to impulses from the following sectors: finance and insurance, mobility, healthcare, industry 4.0, energy, and the aeronautics sector. For the start, let's begin with finance and insurance. It's a pleasure for me to introduce to you the Deputy CEO and Director of Deposits and Consignments, Banque des Territoires, Monsieur Olivier Sichel de Paris.
Hello. Thank you very much. Well, I think we're all very impressed by the incredible political momentum around GAIA X, and our German and French ministers, as well as the Commissioner Thierry Breton for Internal Market and Services, have once again insisted on the unique opportunity that GAIA X represents for Europe in the digital race. As regards finance, as you said, I'm very proud to show you the result of a collective work that was initiated by the German financial community and then has become a German-French work and was lately joined by some of our Italian colleagues. I am sure this is only the beginning of a European-wide adventure with participants from all other countries joining these growing GAIA X communities. And when I mention the financial community, I'm not just talking about banks and insurance companies, solution providers, academic institutes, and governmental agencies. Many thanks to all those who have been participating to these numerous workshops. It's a testimony of the strong interest shown by the financial community, and we already have 8 day one members of GAIA X in 3 countries. We've got the list on the slide, in addition to all the founding members that are contributing to our data space. Together with the participants to the workshops, we have already agreed on a common position paper on our overall expectations towards GAIA X, and it is by itself a powerful symbol of our willingness to make GAIA X happen for real. As an illustration, you have on this slide the most significant benefits we expect for our industries and ultimately for the European citizens. First, thanks to GAIA X strategy of aggregating and federating data and services, we will easily build, assemble, and use trusted services. This is very ambitious, but will clearly unlock a lot of value for our industry, because trust is certainly the key to any business development in finance. And the strategy of aggregation is very pragmatic, and it will help build GAIA X services upon existing services that will integrate GAIA X policy rules instead of developing everything from scratch. The second is that GAIA X is to us a key accelerator for innovation. By providing secure data sharing and artificial intelligence services at scale, it will help us scaling up open innovation and co-construction. And GAIA X will offer us to do so in a compliant and secured ecosystem, which is very important if you want to lower business development costs. Third, building on these innovation capabilities, we will be able to create new financial products and foster new business models that are compliant by design with European regulations and value. And this is a major competitive advantage for our community. And we have already identified a few topics of interest that I will address later on. And last but not least, we expect GAIA X to foster Europe's competitiveness by helping our community launch new products on a European scale, reduce costs, and in particular compliant costs, which are huge when you are working in the finance industry, and enhance the competitivity of our solution providers by helping them grow their data and cloud business. We also expect GAIA X helping us to solve some financial stability issues by boosting research in that field where data quantity and quality is key. If I'm moving on now of the outputs made by the workshop I mentioned earlier, there has been a lot of energy among participants, and we have already identified many value-creating topics of interest for our community. Among all those topics, we consider two of them as the true pillars on which to build our development strategy. First, we all know how much the financial industry is regulated, either by ECB or by local authorities such as ACPR in France, and how much data management, and in particular data protection, is at the heart of our business. By itself, this both justifies and requires the GAIA X initiative in order to accelerate the development and the use of trusted database services. However, this will be only achieved if we make sure that GAIA X policy rules will be consistent with financial sector regulations. So pillar number one is to rapidly set up a compliance by design framework within GAIA X that fulfills the requirements induced by the financial regulations. And that job needs to be done in close connection with European and national regulators and governments. The second pillar, we need to make the GAIA X financial data space real as soon as possible by the implementation of at least one secured innovation and experimentation platform to support co-innovation. And as an option to be rapidly investigated, we could deliver this first building block by leveraging the work of our German colleagues on the Financial Big Data Cluster, the FBDC initiative. Building on those two pillars, we have also identified 5 additional topics with short-term potential. Those 5 topics share a common feature, which is that they could build on existing services, provided necessary adaptations to GAIA X policy rules are made rapidly. And by doing so, this will also open new opportunities thanks to a more intensive use of AI and data sharing, for example, in the field of fraud management and anti-laundering capabilities. In addition to the acceleration of open banking usages, 2 topics are essential to our business that could be shared with other data spaces. The first one relates to authentication, identity management, consent management, and e-privacy cloud services. The second one relates to compliant by design electronic intelligent document and content management cloud services. A large array of tools has existed for long in Europe, but has been regularly hindered by the lack of an operant framework, especially as to emerging cloud services. For instance, document scanning or text-to-speech. I mentioned earlier the value of data in our industry, and 2 areas could benefit from a wider and deeper use of AI and potentially secure data sharing. First, trusted fraud, risk and compliance database cloud services in the domains of fraud detection, fight against money laundering and terrorism, regulatory reporting. And the second, trusted financial risk management cloud services in the domain of market trading, risk assessment, credit risk assessment, ALM simulations. All of those use cases needing massive computation and strong protection of the data used. If we go a little further, in addition to these first 7 topics, we have identified 11 additional value-creating topics that are more midterm, so we're talking more in the future. Half of them are potentially cross-data space. The first topic, stable supply chain finance, is a good example of value created by cross-data space cooperation. The idea is to create new financial products to finance working capital as close as possible to physical flows. And this is to be achieved by data sharing between Industry 4.0, supply chains, and financing application. Another interesting topic is to enhance federation services with tokenization services that could help orchestrate secure data and service brokerage in order, for example, to facilitate invoicing or usage-based services. Close to tokenization services, there are blockchain as a service platform that could help share secure data and smart contract, and in general, provide trusted hosting for blockchain nodes. Another promising topic is the development of personal data safes, where any citizen could store his personal data and directly command their use by cloud services. That would in return facilitate the sourcing of personal data for cloud services by connecting directly to those safes. Then, we all feel that GAIA X could accelerate the development of new transversal products, for example, products in liaison with the European Payment Initiative, the EPI. Another field of interest relates to the European financial institutional space, where we have identified at this stage 3 topics of interest. First, improve the databases for monetary policy decisions through the optimization of the information base for monetary policy. Improve the empirical databases and the use of AI. Second, in supervision of stock exchanges, enhance market integrity thanks to a better detection of market manipulations through new AI methods. Third, in the field of sustainable finance, design AI and machine learning services, for example, to analyze the impact of climate risks. We also envisage 2 high-value long-term topics that would require potential significant investments. The first one is to explore the possibility of creating an alternative to non-European financial market data providers. And the second one is to move core banking applications to the cloud in core banking as a service cloud platforms. That would benefit to the European financial industry through standardizations and would strengthen European solution providers' worldwide market position. I will finish by saying now how to move and build on the GAIA X momentums. And we think that now we have 4 priorities to be addressed in the coming months. The first priority is to develop the compliant by design framework we talked about earlier, aligning GAIA X policy rules and financial sector regulations is a prerequisite to any real GAIA X development in the financial industry. And we have to shape this urgently. The second priority is really to make it real as soon as possible and to have this first data space demonstrator. And as we said, we'll rapidly explore the option to build on the FBDC cluster initiative launch in Germany. Third priority is to set up the governance of our finance and insurance data space, organize the work within the community, and especially mobilize all our solution providers network and capabilities to jointly plan development and roll out for the most value-creating topics among the 18 topics identified so far. The fourth priority is to select topics for which funding by the EC, the European Commission, could accelerate the development of GAIA X services. As a conclusion, I can tell you how much enthusiasm I am personally about the momentum I observed in our finance and insurance community the past months. I am really eager to watch the first real GAIA X services. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Sichel.